This is gonna be a long video. Hold up. No, I will not be able to cite every single piece of evidence. No, I'm not a nerd. No, I'm not into social study stuff. No, I don't actually study this stuff for a living. I'm just a normal fucking guy. So as you guys saw from the last video that I made, Navy federal bank accounts are starting to slowly get closed. And when I say closed, I don't mean permanently. I mean temporarily while the government shutdown is taking place. These accounts may start to be closed off and will not be able to receive funds or be spending funds. I had a deposit of a decent amount, let me say that, hit my account, and I was going to go ahead and start spending that money and start putting that towards paying my bills and things like that. So this money, which is well over a few $100s, this money was going to be used towards certain things. So as I go to pay like an Amazon shipment, because I did receive my 3DS to like get a hard shell case and all that, you guys know Prime Day is coming up. I go to pay that off, and I see that my payment was unexpectedly canceled. So I was like, what just happened? I have well over enough money to fill this. It's only like $30. I go to my account and I'm like, okay, scratch it. I'll just cancel some of those stuff. I go to my account and I look to see if I can pay off my credit card. I go in, and before I even fully log in, it says we cannot sign you in. Da 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 da. So I'm thinking, did my account go like negative and they blocked my account, or they flagged my account? What happened? But then I remembered that is not true, because I paid off everything that I owed and I made sure that everything was cleared off by last night. So it would not have happened this morning. And I was on my account this morning. There were no signs, nothing hit me. I had no mail, none of that, right? So I'm thinking, what's going on? So I go to my Navy Federal account on Safari, and that is where you guys saw that message of it saying, because of the government shutdown, paychecks may be held. Now, if you do not know what that's saying, basically, it's saying you're not going to get paid. So I did make a video saying recently, no federal employees are going to start getting paid, and it's going to get to the point where yada yada. Allegedly, or it's not even alleged, but what I've heard and understood, President Trump came out with a message, what was this, yesterday, saying how anybody that works for the federal government, this is including federal employees, such as airport, nurses, doctor, all those kind of things, like traffic controllers, all those, you will not be paid, right? And it used to be, okay, if you didn't show up to work, then like you would still receive some form of compensation because it wasn't your fault, essentially, right? So the government would say, you know what, we messed up, we'll still give you some money, you know, it's our bad, right? He stopped that, or he's actively trying to stop that if he hasn't. He's apparently said in his speech, if you do not show up to work, you will not be paid. If you show up to work, if you do show up to work, you're still not getting paid because you're not going to get paid. You're a necessity worker. They're not giving you money, right? Now, how is this affecting me? If anybody, which a lot of people go through Navy Federal, this is our veterans. This is people, sons and daughters of veterans, spouses of veterans, all these different people, your money is now going to start being held because it is a national, or not even a national bank, a government-funded bank, right? And I'm thinking, they can't get away with this, right? This can't be legal. Well, I mean, you know, does it have to be legal if he's doing it? No. You see what I mean? So where am I getting at with all of this? What is the end goal is my question. That's what I keep asking. I'm like, what would be the point of them stopping this? So I'm thinking, okay, maybe the account is just closed, like, visually, but I can still spend money and receive money and all that. I can't receive paychecks. I went to Walmart to go buy something for about $30, like some food for me to eat for the rest of this week. I could not spend money. My account declined 3 times. It actually froze the kiosk that I was at Walmart. What? So my credit cards, my debit cards cannot be used. So my thought process is, does this mean loans will also be closed? How do I send checks to companies to pay rent? You see what I'm saying? Like, what happens now is the thought that I'm having. And I keep thinking, what is the end goal? What is he trying to accomplish? Why is this happening? Why hasn't it been fixed? I think the end goal is to start a riot, a rebellion of some sort. As you guys know, the Great Awakening has been happening. People have been saying that Israel and all these other places are the problem, and Trump is this, and da-da-da-da, and da-da-da. I think his plan from day one, from when he started deploying ICE into major cities to lower crime, has been to lock off and close down everything. To have an absolute defense in every single major city, and to close off motion of some sort. Preparing for a civil war. Why is that? Let's start with the ICE situation. Why has ICE been mass hiring with these big bonuses of like 50K and all these things? They're mass hiring. Why are they mass hiring? Because they're trying to get training done. Why are they trying to get training done? Because they're preparing for a war. This is his right-hand army, pretty much. He fully controls ICE as of right now, pretty much. You know, the National Guard and all that, yeah, kinda, but those are limited. You know, you have to have authorization and shit like that for that. For ICE, I don't think he has to have all that. I think he just deploy them at will. So boom, he got them into major countries and not countries, in major cities, right? Washington D.C. I've heard of, New York I've heard of, L.A. I've heard of, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot more that I just don't know. Once again, I'm just a normal guy. This is what I've pieced together. He has them all there and they're locking down crime. They stopped crime. Da, da, da. I think he's just getting them there to prepare, to learn, and to see what's going on so they can be ready for what's going to happen. Secondly, why would he stop paying people? He said it himself, a government shutdown is just a sign of a weak president. Why would Trump want to stop paying people to start that riot, to get that initial flame spark? If you cannot incite a riot off of a murder of somebody, off of doing something extra, what is the next best thing? Stop their money. Make people start going homeless. Stop them to where they can't rebel enough, or spark that spark up, right? That's when you start messing with people's money. You start messing with a decent amount of people's money, okay, maybe nothing happens. Then let's start closing down some major banks like Bank of America, Capital One, Chase. Them big banks. You don't want to mess them up too bad. We don't want to blow up the whole economy, but like, let's start messing with them a little bit and see how far we can get with it before people start tweaking out. Now, this is a major bank. It's not the biggest bank. Like I said, it's a credit union. So not too many people mess with it, but a lot of people still mess with it enough to cause a problem. That's why I think he's doing that. Once again, not paying federal employees. They don't have a chance. They don't have a choice even. You have to work and you're not going to get paid. Number 3, why do I think it is that he's actually doing this and he doesn't care about us having money, or that he's trying to stop us from having this money? If you're poor, you can't rebel. How are you going to rebel? You don't have a home. Even if you do have a home, you don't have firearms. You don't have the food that you need. You don't have all these necessities. It's a supply cutoff. What's the number one piece of warfare that everybody wants to use, right? Cut the supply off. If you have hungry soldiers, non-supplied soldiers, what are you going to do? You just got to sit there and take it. So not only has he locked everything down with complete defense, but he's also went on the offense and cut off lines. Everything. Your money. Eventually that money is going to affect housing, food, resources, transportation. You can't leave the country if you want to. You don't have enough money. Obviously, we're going to keep it open. The air traffic controllers and everything, the airports are still open. You can go. With what money? I genuinely was supposed to, within the next 3 days, have enough money to where I genuinely could just fly to Japan if I wanted to. And you guys see these newspapers in the back. This is from the package that came from Osaka today. But I could fly out to Osaka if I wanted to right now. Obviously, it wouldn't be the best flight, but I could, right? But I no longer have that access to my money to do that. One of my major banks, one of my 3 banks, has been cut off. So here's what I'm trying to say here, right? For some reason, he's trying to do all these things to get us to rebel. He wants us to fight He wants us to argue. He wants us to rebel. Why? That's what everybody wants to know, right? My thoughts behind it is, during time of war, I'm not too sure about this. You guys might have to correct me. During times of war, a president in office cannot be elected or unelected if the government shut down, a war is active, and all these other things. And then the people that are scared, that don't want to react, that don't want to do anything, what is their only option? To sit there and take it. So who are they going to look towards? The police that are helping them, the government that is stopping all the violence of these corrupt people, the lefts and the rights. Oh, the left is so violent. You see what I'm trying to get at? And what does this do for him, though? Why would he want this to happen? Not only is he going to kill two birds with one stone, it's going to make them more money. War always brings more resources. We all know this. To the normal human being, you might be poor as hell, broke as hell. You don't know what to do with your life. You're out here fighting every day. For the rich, they're raking money in, resources and everything. They're just pulling it in. It's a money grab. That's free game. Number two, he cannot be unelected. He cannot. Nobody else, no other candidates can be reelected during this time of chaos. First of all, who's going to want to vote against him at that? We need a strong leader. We need somebody that's willing to do what needs to be done. Who happens to be that person? The only person that happens to be in office currently. It's war. Nobody is focused on elections. Matter of fact, like I said, if the government is shut down within this time frame, you can't even elect. What are we going to do? Go back to writing on a piece of paper and putting it in a Dropbox? You see what I'm trying to say? So all these different things are adding up to a greater thing. And like I said, the great noticing has been happening where people are starting to understand what's going on. And then to make it even worse, I just thought of this. Oracle is now taking over TikTok. And I forgot the other company that's going to be taking over YouTube and the Google system. They have effectively neutralized every form of resistance before we even recognized that it was happening and got to resist. It's already checkmate. The great noticing isn't going to be a great noticing. It's going to be a slaughter, a straight genocide. So many of us are going to perish. It doesn't matter at this point anymore. It's done. It's already been checkmated. What are we supposed to do? And then some of you guys are going to be fools and say, well, we could just... You know what I mean? There's always 17 heads to replace it. It's like a hydra. You might cut one off. There's going to be two more that grow back. And they might be even worse than the first head. This is America. Absolute peak cinema. Why the second I turned 21? Literally days before I turned 21. Every piece of America is starting to crumble. And it seems like, and the thing is, I'm telling this to people, and they'll hear this information, and they'll say, nah, this guy's just spitballing random crap, or what's your sources? You can see this with your own eyes. I only started actually locking in on this recently when Charlie Kirk got assassinated, because I was like, what the hell? Why would he die? Because they wanted us to start fighting. They wanted us to get something to start hitting the bee's nest with. They wanted something to hit us with a, oh yeah, guess who did it? To piss some people off and to split the left and right. But then that didn't work too well, so they were like, okay, what else can we do? They started doing little things, and then everybody was like, ah, scratch Israel, ah. And then they were like, okay, we can weaponize this. Let's take their frustration on Israel and all these other institutions. Let's go ahead and make them rebel. When they rebel, we control and we conquer. Starts with supply. Second, communication. Third, we start thinning out the horde. And then fourth is just in-game. It's just control. Complete control. Domination. And that is exactly what we're leading into. Like I said, I'm not a war general. I don't know anything about this crap. I'm just 20. I just got here, guys. I'm only level 20, gang. I don't know too much. But what I do know is they want to give you just enough of a bone to chase it. So those people that's bank accounts aren't closed, whose jobs aren't affected, whose close companions aren't actually going through anything right now, and you're just living it up and you're chilling, and you're like, this guy's just yapping. It's coming for you eventually. And for those that is already affected, you're already starting to get ready, and you're already seeing what's actually happening, and you're starting to get prepared. You might be trying to tell people, and they're just thinking, it doesn't affect me, I don't care. Because that's effectively what these jobs have been doing. Just draining your energy slowly to where you're just like, oh, I don't have the energy to care right now. Does it even matter? I'm starting to think at this point, what is the point of me working if I can't even receive my paychecks either? I'm not even a federal employee. So like I said, for those that it doesn't affect, that you're acting like it doesn't matter, eventually it's going to hit you, and it might be already too late. It's already too late to start off right now. Maybe we can start combining and like doing something, but I'm telling you, they want us to fight. I don't think that's the best course of action. But I don't know, bro. This shit is killing me, bro. Because what do you do? Genuinely, like, what do you do in a situation like this? These are the kind of videos that we need to be making, but people are so scared of censorship, and that's exactly what they're about to do soon. Oh my god, I think by the end of October, we're going to be done. It's over. By the end of this year, it's completely finished. October, they're going to have everything they need in place. All the transfers, all the... And the thing is, all of those things are going straight to who? Think about it. Who runs Oracle? Who runs the company that's literally being transferred to Israel? They will completely be able to control all of modern news sources that we use. TikTok, Instagram, Google, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all these different sites, they're eventually going to lock them the fuck down to where there will be no spread of anything. Nobody will be able to talk, so how can we communicate? How can we get together? How can we do all these things? How can we organize? We cannot. And we're already so diverse. We haven't made any progress. The Great Noticing is going to be an absolute genocide. We think it's going to be a civil war and all these things. It's going to be a slaughter. And they're going to take over everything. And I'm not even trying to be an extremist or any of that. That's genuinely what's going to happen. And like I said, I've noticed that a lot of us are on the same page. Or not even a lot of us, but a decent amount of us are on the same page. We know what's going on. But we're waiting for somebody else to make the move. We're waiting for somebody else to start something. We're waiting for somebody else to do something so that we can follow behind it. Because we're scared. And we're going to get steamrolled. If it hasn't already started already, which I believe it has. But this is all hypothesis, guys. I don't know. I'm insane in the membrane type shit. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just a random guy. You know, I pay taxes, I do bills, I do all this stuff. I just live in my mom's house, you know? Like, I'm just a loser. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't take anything I say with some serious backing behind it. Don't do your own research. It won't help you any, you know? Just go about your day as normal. You know, go eat your Little Cece's pizza. Go sit at your desk and go jerk off. Like, keep doing life normally how you're doing it. Trust me, nothing's actually happened. This was all a joke. This is all us just talking in GTA, you know what I'm talking about, so. Yeah, man. Don't pay me any attention, man. I love you guys. Yeah. I'll see you guys at Amazon tomorrow.